I want to ask you a question. Who do you think would be more successful? The man who sticks with what he knows and sticks with the familiar, or the man who dares to try something new, something that he isn't comfortable with? And you might say that the man who is just working with stuff that's familiar, that he knows about, that's comfortable, would be more successful because he is very knowledgeable of the things that he is working with. He's like an expert in his field, right? But then you could also say, on the other hand, that the person who is willing to try something new, who dares to try something new, is more likely to take risks. And the person who is more likely to take risks could become successful as well. Your answer to this question is what's going to determine whether you think that staying in comfort is a good thing, or going out there and doing stuff that is uncomfortable is a better thing to do. And this question is going to make sense because I'm about to tell you a story from myself that should hopefully put this into a bit of a better perspective for you. In 2020, in the middle of the pandemic, I had all the time in the world. I was 19 years old at the time, and I spent most of my days sat in this exact chair and would just roll out of bed, get into my chair, and literally turn on my PS4. And I would message one of my friends and say if they wanted to play GTA, and we would just hop onto GTA and literally just play GTA all fucking day. Even though I had all the time in the world, I could have been working on my businesses, I could have started a YouTube channel, I could have been doing better stuff on self-improvement, because I was on self-improvement at the time, but I was still playing video games. I was very early on in my journey, and I had all the time in the world, and I wasted it. Now, the reason that I wasted it was because I was comfortable and I stuck with what I was familiar with. And that harkens back to the kind of question that I gave you at the beginning of this video, that if you stick with things that you're comfortable with and you stay in comfort, then that is going to lead you to procrastinate and to not make any progress. And the reason that this happens is because you get stuck in something called region beta. So I'm going to explain to you now what region beta is and how you can get out of region beta. So region beta is essentially an idea that if you were in a situation like a job or a relationship that was not like great, it was like okay, but it's not ideal, then you would actually be better off if that situation was way, way worse. And I can give you this as an example, like with when I was in the pandemic, for example, playing video games, right? I wasn't happy with my situation. I was broke. I was unhealthy. I was fat. I was not very motivated. I just sat in my room all day playing video games, and I felt like shit because of it. But I was having fun playing video games. I was speaking to my friends every day. I didn't have to work. So I was in this like comfortable situation where I was just satisfied, right? I wasn't happy, but I was satisfied, and I was stuck in region beta. Another example I can give you is if you're in a job right now, like working a 9-to-5 job, and you don't like the job, you don't want to be in a 9-to-5 anymore, but it's kind of okay. It pays all right, right? You get like a decent amount of money from it. But, you know, your boss is like kind of nice to you, like he's a nice guy, your boss, right? And your manager's a sound guy. So you get on well with your team and stuff like that, but you don't really want to be working a 9-to-5. Then you're stuck in region beta, and you would be better off if your boss was like abusive to you and you weren't allowed to take any holidays, because then the job would be really bad. And if it was that bad, that would actually initiate action, right? It would force you to take action on that situation to get out of that job. So what I'm really trying to say is if you stick with comfort and you stay in your comfort zone and you stay with what you're familiar with, you risk ending up just settling for kind of average, settling for being satisfied in your situation. And one of the best ways to drive action in your life and to lead you to greatness and to lead you to take action and do things like set up a YouTube channel, like go to the gym, like start a business, right? This like cool stuff that you want to do, that you're like subscribed to this channel for, only works if you have the ability to take action and do those things. But without dissatisfaction and without absolute discomfort and pain for the situation you're in now, you're not going to have the fuel that's going to drive you towards taking action, right? So I made a video recently talking about my physique like being average and how the gym's like changed my life, even though I have an average physique, right? And the reason that I talked about in that video why I started the gym is because I was so annoyed and upset with myself for the way that I looked. I hated my physique. I was skinny fat. I looked disgusting. I hated the way I looked. I was so dissatisfied with the way that I looked that it forced me to actually pick up some weight and go to the gym. Remember, I'd never lifted weights at this point before in my life. I'd never walked into a gym. I was super scared of going to the gym. And it took me getting fat and unhealthy and looking disgusting. That's how much it took me to actually initiate action to go and do it. If my physique was okay, right? I wasn't fat, but I wasn't muscly, and I was just kind of skinny, but I wasn't super upset with the way I looked, I probably would never have started the gym because I didn't have the fuel necessary to go and do that. So I guess the whole point of this video is just me telling you that you need to be deeply dissatisfied with your current situation in order for you to be led to greatness, right? If you're just like having a pretty good time in life right now, like you're just meeting your friends, you're drinking every weekend, and you're kind of just happy for it to be on, like, you know, you're not happy, but you're kind of just like, yeah, it is what it is, it's life, then you're never going to go out and do the things that you need to do to actually like achieve some awesome stuff, right? Like I would never set up this YouTube channel if I wasn't deeply dissatisfied with having to work 9 to 5. Okay, like my whole life I've been working and I've just been satisfied with working. But ever since I got into self-improvement and started watching self-improvement YouTubers and started really to set my goals much higher and to have much higher expectations of myself, it's only then that I realized that working this job my whole life, if I'm currently like the job that I'm currently in, that is such a scary and horrible thought to think that I'll just be working this job for like 10 years. And it's made me so dissatisfied with my current life that it's forced me to have to create a YouTube channel and to create content and to work super fucking hard. And it's the same with like, if you want to lose weight, right? If you're like super fat and you get to a point where you're so disgusted with the way you look, it forces you to change your diet and it forces you to go out and do cardio and stuff. So if you're going to get any value from this video, I just want you to be aware, just think, are you in region beta right now? Are you stuck like just in kind of comfort that's like not very fun, but it's also just like, all right? If you're stuck in this like middle ground zone where you're not actually taking any action, but you also like don't like your life, if you're stuck in that place, then just think, how can you make it so that you're just dissatisfied with your life? Just really think about like your life, the current stuff that you're doing, the current bad habits. Is this what you really want to be doing for your whole life, for the rest of your entire life? And if you can think about like that, like an anti-vision, like what your life could be like if you just stay doing the same shit that you're currently doing over and over again, year in, year out, then that should drive you. The dissatisfaction from that kind of possibility should drive you forwards to making a change and to maybe setting up a business, starting going to the gym, and just getting on self-improvement in general. Right, bro, thank you for watching the video. Hope you got some value out of it. And yeah, just keep improving yourself every day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.